working twice as hard for something you already got. Another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know. Friends are coming through the door. Wheels are spinning on the floor. We don't know what we don't know. That's the only way to grow. Oh, another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know. What you're looking for is in your hand, been there all along. Pour another cup and pull a chair. Sing along. Another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know. Hey! Hey!
Good morning, HubSpot Nation. Welcome to another Orange Morning. Happy Wednesday here with Casey Hawkins and special guest Maggie Philbin. Good morning.
I did realize this morning on my walk that I didn't prepare Maggie for on Wednesdays we wear orange. I should have added that to my.
I can go change. Actually, you know what? This would be so sad as a HubSpot employee. I don't know that I own any orange.
So Maggie, when we started doing this, I had to go out and I had like what I actually wore my husband's orange shirt because I was like, I don't have anything.
I don't think I have. I know my husband has an orange WNBA hoodie and I could put that on, but even my HubSpot, like of course I've got a couple of HubSpot things, but they're like, it'll have the logo on it, but then the shirt is not orange.
Mm-hmm. I one time went on Poshmark and eBay looking for like HubSpotters selling their HubSpot stuff. Surprisingly, it's disappointing.
It
was all like,
I'd be a little upset to learn that former employee merch is being sold on Poshmark.
Oh man,
it is, but none of it is
not the
none
good
of it's
stuff.
orange.
not the good stuff. Not the good stuff. All right. Well, welcome. We appreciate you joining us today, Maggie. We are going to dive into some updates as we.
All right. There are 4 today. The first one is maybe the one I'm most interested in.
Certainly the most interesting words that are put together. Marketing research agent. What is it? Marketing research agent is an experimental agent that analyzes all your marketing reporting data and surfaces recommendations you can act on directly. We will reach out to all users requesting access to the agent and require a mandatory onboarding call with the product team to better understand your business use case and the quality of the recommendations produced.
I like that move. To join the beta, you have to talk to me. That's I immediately looked it up. I'm like, I gotta go find who that is because that's that's a good idea.
I've been through in a couple betas where this was part of it. The video creation beta was another one. I was going to ask you, Maggie, if there's like a policy or something, but it sounds like no. Like
no, it's not like a specific process. It is a really good idea because betas, largely the point of them is so that we can hear from you. So I do like the forcing mechanism of, hey, come talk to us if you want to try this thing.
Yeah, and this one also has like an onboarding, which for something like for any of the agents is probably helpful in like actually getting people to use it well, rather than just, click it on. I didn't get the immediate results I thought, so click it off, whatever. This one matters though. Combing through multiple reports and analyzing various pieces of data is time consuming. Marketing Agent takes a data first approach to all queries. It leverages a cross-pollinated set of data to generate insights and recommendations, which you can save as tasks for further action. This is interesting. So it's, suggesting tasks re-engage Seabreeze Resort rate negotiation. This looks like a specific person, which is different than I was expecting it to be a little more broad than this.
Guess you'll have to call the product manager to find out.
Yeah. No, I bet this is probably what most businesses need to actually start doing marketing well, or the right way, or marketing at all. For all those marketing coordinators that are just doing sales PDFs as their main role, stuff like this will go a long way. So,
clarifying question, Casey. When you said it would be less individual, are you saying that you were expecting this to not be like a list of companies to target? You were expecting it to be what?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was thinking it was going to be like, hey, Chris is going to roll his eyes. This webinar campaign did really well 2 months ago. Have you thought you haven't done another webinar since then? Something more like that. This to me, when I read Marketing Research Agent, like the outcomes here is the proposal was sent, no activity since December 2024. It's gone cold, lost reasons worth capturing, follow up. Like to me, this is a sales task. This isn't a marketing task.
Yeah, I think that's valid.
Thanks, Maggie.
As the decider of the validity of all.
Right? No, I think like in how does that work? So the best way to get started is to dig into questions that may require computational complexity, and then to improve your organization's marketing efforts. I think most of us marketers know that the organization should be using us throughout the entire, customer life cycle. So I would hope that it can dig into like active deals that have stalled and be like, hey, maybe they could use this case study that's sitting over here in the portal, right? And as a part of this playbook.
And maybe the point is that marketing and sales are becoming a little more intermingled anyway.
I do wonder if it does both though. Like I see in that screenshot, I'm not in the beta, so I can't even look in my own. I would have to get into the beta to look. But along that left-hand side, there's like a couple of different chat options. And I wonder if the idea is like you could ask it about something as granular as deal progress or which deals have stalled, but then also something as high level as what marketing execution is serving my business. I would kind of assume that it would be both things.
Yeah, no, I think there's so much potential there, and
it's in the campaigns app, which is interesting. Also, I don't know.
I love how they want to execute it. Like, right, our business is ready. That's the thing, and this should make them ready. Like, if you pull this open for the first time, especially if you don't have a marketing team, and the first task is like, hey, this deal thing happened, and your other marketing stuff could help with that. Like, not all on your sales rep to go close. That's the kind of, I think, wake up call a lot of businesses would benefit from.
I'm trying to resist the urge to turn this into like a classic product manager grilling, but why does it feel surprising to you that it's in campaigns?
I thought it would be in like, what are the apps? I don't even know, but like I thought it would be in some sort of AI. AI category. Well, and part of this actually is after looking at and we're basing a lot of what we're saying on a screenshot, but we only have so much information at this point. Is, I guess, like, it's hard for me with the information I have to know how we got to this from campaigns, I guess, is.
That's the right way to do campaigns. Like, campaigns are definitely not just an email blast anymore. And like, now that you can add 28 different types of assets, like, and across every hub, the campaign, this is how businesses need to be thinking. Like, the campaign for the quarter is, we want to sell more of this product. And how do all of our teams work together to do that? Like, those are the kinds of things, like, if you like use Marketing Studio to put all these different asset types together. This is what marketers have to do, like, outside. And it's the reason why I think a lot of teams don't understand why marketing tasks can take longer than they expect, because we're trying to understand the nuance of how, like, I want to send, like, in the screenshot, it's like, do you want to send a re-engagement email or call to check? And it's like, I would love to send a re-engagement email, but not if the salesperson is like talking to them like actively, and the engagement email might mess with that, right? So thinking of the Marketing Studio as like the place where you design communication strategy. I think I said that to the product manager at Inbound last year, that it's a communication strategy canvas. And if you can look at it like that, it's very much different from, we're going to send out some emails and then we need to make a landing page and we got to use these lists. Like, it's just a completely different way to think about it. And it really brings the portal together in a way that, I hope to help more people, kind of think about it in this way. Like, that's what a customer platform, is going to support. So I think we should piggyback on that to just go right into the Breeze Assistant can now access campaign data.
I was thinking that too.
Breeze Assistant now answers questions about your campaign's goals, performance metrics, assets, and budget directly within Breeze Assistant. I'm going to add that word at the end there.
This matters because previously you had to switch between multiple tabs and reports to understand campaign performance or asset readiness. Now, all key campaign data is available in one conversation, saving time and keeping you focused on strategy. So when we're talking about Breeze Assistant, we're just talking about this guy or girl thing. And now
she
we love her.
We love her because she's so strong and powerful. She must be a tree. Talking about that slide out, but anywhere that you see the Breeze sparkle should be powered by Breeze Assistant under the hood. So anytime you see that little like logo, that means it's a system.
Yeah.
I'm happy anytime she has more data.
I don't know if I made that joke. For sure.
Yeah, I love the fact that most of the stuff is being driven towards the conversational experience, and that's also why I look to like Marketing Research Agent and the fact that that's in campaigns. Like, a lot of these canvases and surfaces are being brought together so that Breeze can help like on-screen stuff and have access to all the data. So makes a lot of sense.
I have to admit, I'm side messaging the Marketing Research Agent PM to, selfishly learn about how it interacts with my things. But I also plugged, I was like, if you're free, and you want to join us to talk about it.
Chris, that would be Chris's true dream come true.
I mean, I did not think that could happen ever.
I mean,
just
I will
happened
tell you
on the
guys.
first time.
I will tell you guys, if this were 1 hour later, I think you could get way more of willingness to do that thing. Like when my alarm went off this morning, I was like, "Oh my god!" Chris and
Good feedback.
That I like them.
Thank you for that product feedback for sure. We will take that back to the team and see what the schedule looks like.
That's so
As someone that thought they were agreeing to like, I don't even know, once a week or one time ever, and now it's a year later, Maggie, I would agree with that feedback.
Has it made you a morning person?
Yeah, except we had a couple weeks off, and I was like, wow, this sure is nice.
Yeah, we had a month off in April. I was like, I kind of miss it, but yeah, this is nice mornings.
All right, should we go over to Will workflow? Oh, the other update, or do you want to cover any of these?
I think just noting nested teams selectable for default team email in help desk and notifications, preferences, page improvements.
Wait, I have interest from the marketing research agent PM to join us. Am I totally hijacking things if I send him the link?
Like right now?
It's up to you.
Let's do it. Yeah, no, let's do it.
Okay. I told him I'm like throwing him into the wolves here. How do I even share the link to get in?
Just the URL you have.
The one that you sent me. Okay.
Yeah.
That's such a real move on his part. I'll be really pumped.
I think people are surprised at like I'm trying to create whatever space I can for you guys to talk about your stuff more. Because in like the way that it crosses boundaries, right? Like it's interesting when we talk to, product managers like yourself, and like it's so hard for everybody in the world to keep up with HubSpot, but also to understand like how interlinked everything is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's why he was willing to jump on. Because it's Ankur. It's our boy.
Oh, okay. So
wait for him to. Yeah, he was my first unboxing. So
really? Wow, what an honor.
Yeah. So we'll wait for his video to load up here. This is how things work out. This is how things work out for me, Maggie.
Well, this is generally how I do things. Is just I'm gonna go bother. This is interesting. I'm gonna go bother them.
Right.
So.
Well, while we wait for him to.
I think he chatted.
Here we go.
A hard time with their video.
All right.
Ankur.
Wow.
Ankur, welcome, man.
Hey, Chris. Hey, guys. Thanks for letting me crash. Hey, Casey.
I'm throwing you into the fire here because we were talking through your product rollout, and I was like, you know what? We should see if he'll join us.
Yeah. So it's I can just talk to it very quickly. It's a very limited private beta, as you'll see from like the caption here. We do want to talk to folks and see how they're using it. But what it essentially is it's an agent that's just running all of reporting under the hood, and it's using that reporting as context in its responses. So a lot of the time when you interact with things, what it's doing is it's just like spitting out a report as the outcome. What this agent is actually doing is like reading the report, looking through the data, and using that to infer what the next best action is. And then the output of the agent would be tasks. So tasks, the same ones that you already are using today, of things that you could do or recommendations that we might have on how to improve any sort of things. We have a handful of pre-built prompts. Some are looking at automated emails and ways you can optimize your automated emails. Others are looking at AEO and your citation rates and how you can go about that. And I'll say like it's very early, very, very, very private, but we're looking to learn and we're looking to see, what people cook with when given the right ingredients. So
that's awesome. Can you pull up the screenshot Casey?
I sure
Again.
can.
So what I'm hearing is basically use all data in HubSpot or all the reporting at least,
Yep.
to understand what's going on in the HubSpot, and then if it's like look for other places in HubSpot, probably starting with the revenue focused places. Like we're seeing some deals related task suggestions here, but really anywhere in the customer lifecycle that could benefit from. We're calling it marketing, but sounds just like a communication strategy.
You're right.
Thing,
like it can look through anything. It can identify, for example, if you're someone who like is primarily working with deals, it can figure out like maybe what deals you want to focus on based on size, based on like timeout. The agent sort of reasons through all of that. So you're right. Like it's not exclusive to marketing. The examples I gave were pretty like exclusive to marketing, but anything that goes through reporting is like fair game here. The other thing I'll say that the agent does, which is more marketing specific, is when it does come to like a blog post or like an email, it intrinsically understands the relationship like that different assets have to one another. So if there's like a landing page linked in your email, we understand that those two things are related to one another. And so it has all of this context that it can reason through to provide like the next best action.
I love that.
Because when I read these examples, what I said to Chris and Maggie was like, these felt like sales tasks to me.
Yeah.
When I read like the marketing agent, I was expecting it to be more like this.
Yeah. So these ones, good point. Yeah. Maybe it was a bad screenshot on my side, but it has.
Yeah. Now that we've got both of you, like, because we've been doing this for a while, and since you just brought that up, screenshot choice, we've had commentary on throughout the journey.
It's gonna be some like HubSpot feedback.
Like what goes into like making a product update? Because like one of the other ones we showed, the Breeze Assistant, like sometimes you can tell. I'll just say sometimes you can tell AI is clearly used in making some of these updates, where like the subtitle of the section is left in, and it just, so I'm curious like how it works and like what you guys like. Is it just like you guys have like a form that you submit and then it shows up here, or?
We have a system on our side where I, as a product manager, if I own a feature that is being released in some capacity, private beta, live, what have you, I can write in the answers to these questions and provide any information that I think will provide value to customers. It then goes through an approval process. So it's approved by folks that are working on our go-to-market team and product marketing. And then once it's approved and once the code is rolled out, then it ends up in this view.
Okay.
That is
awesome.
that is the objectively correct answer. The specifics of what product managers are doing, I will say that they all get approved by product marketing, but I can neither confirm nor deny the accusations being made.
You'll see like a lot of stylistic differences because like probably the way that updates versus the way that Maggie writes updates are like tremendously different. When I was working on video, I would do a lot of videos of like the updates because I felt like that was on brand for that product. I do a lot less of that now, but it can really.
Yeah, we can definitely tell when it's marketers writing the update versus other.
It's always PMs.
I mean, like from
you're
like the marketing hub stuff versus right. Like there's some that are trying to sell. It's like a pitch, right? And others that are just like, here it is. Our favorite ones are like the legal.
It depends on the thing, updates. Right? Like you don't want a salesy pitch about a data governance update, right? Like you want to understand exactly what it's going to do. So yeah, I think it depends on the surface area. And then it's also something that I think evolves over time. Like I could go back and read some of my very beginning product updates, and I think I would go, oh God. It was one of the things that felt the most scary, because once you put the product update out, like that's out. But then over time you get better at it and more used to it and things like that. We're all just people.
All right, one more beef before we get to have some fun. Is there a formula for major update tag?
Oh, there is. Yeah, there is. I don't know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to share it, but
there is.
it's like yeah.
It is not necessarily, I think what people get confused with it a lot is it's not necessarily a value statement. It's a like projected
impact
to your day-to-day, right? So something can be really, really, really valuable and maybe completely change the way one individual business decides to use a corner of HubSpot or HubSpot. But it is not a breaking change. It will not force a bunch of people to completely change the way. So I think the language does make it seem like it's sort of like value ascribing, but it's less that, and it's more about how much do you really, really, really need to know that this happened? Do you need to know only if you're interested in this subject matter, or if this feature set applies to your business? Then it's going to be like lower. Like custom events, for example. Literally nothing with custom events will ever be considered a major change. And that doesn't mean that custom events isn't important. It is just a matter, it's intended to be a signal that can let you know how disruptive this has the potential to be for your business, I would say.
Yeah. Filters.
Yeah, a lot of those are probably, well, it depends on what they are, right? If we simplify the way operator language works and we do it in a way that requires nothing from you, and we just explain to you the new things, and all of your existing filters migrate perfectly cleanly over into the brave new world, that's a thing that, you know, might be lower on the totem pole. But something that requires like a migration or a change in the way you think about filtering your data in HubSpot might be more major. I haven't. You put in some information and it spits out the label. You know that it is.
There you go. You know, that's what we thought. Yeah, all good.
Chris, I know we've lost the plot today, but Paul had a question about. I think the marketing research agent here is asset X that would help blocker Y. I don't think that's. Yeah. Specifically, Paul said it would be nice if this worked with buyer groups. Asset X would help blocker Y, empower champion, blah, blah, blah.
Not sure if I fully grasp the use case, but maybe what I would say is, Paul, if you want to shoot me a LinkedIn message after this, I'll add you to the beta and you see if it helps. My guess is there's a lot of use cases that I have not thought about because I really kind of have fixated on the marketing one. And my guess is it probably supports like 95% of them. So
yeah. No, I like that suggestion from Paul. As we try to help people, like, do you have everybody involved in the conversation? If not, how do you get them involved? And most of the time the answer is like specific content, you know, tailored to that user type or
Paul, message on LinkedIn. Like, I would love to sit down with you and see if this can help you. So, yep.
For sure. All right. Well, we're roping you into our fun segment since you're here. This one's called Will It Workflow. And before we spin the wheel, we've got HubSpot objects, apps that, as HubSpot describes them, some inside of HubSpot, some outside of HubSpot, and then a use case. And our questions are, will it workflow, should it workflow, and how? So go ahead and spin, Casey.
I really hope campaigns comes up, but.
Oh man, Data Studio twice in 1 week. That's tough.
All right, so contact Data Studio, notify on change. I wish Oaks was here again because he was way better at Data Studio than I am. Maggie, are you doing much in Data Studio? Well, now that you're like working on filtering.
Studio. I'm dangerous in Data Studio. Am I a Data Studio expert? No. But do I know what Data Studio does, and can I get dangerous in there? Yes, I can.
Well, actually, Chris, this is quite similar to the example we did with Oaks, isn't it? I don't remember.
Yeah. I think we had custom object instead of contact. So,
but it's the same. So what we came up with on Monday, it was custom object, Data Studio. It wasn't notify on change, but it was assign owner.
Assign owner. Yeah.
Yeah. And what we had talked about was like potentially having a Google spreadsheet of all the zip codes and having the owners by zip codes, and then referencing that using Data Studio to assign the custom owner.
I would probably, for this, do you want like my answer of like how I would do that? I would probably, so like notify on change, what I interpret that ask as is something important about my contact is changing and I want to inform someone else of it. Would I use Data Studio for this out the gate? Probably. I would probably just go directly to workflows and do this, right? But if I had to use Data Studio for this, I would probably track changes to the property that I care about via, and this is like my little plug, via property change events. You can set up some property settings. You can, let's say we want to know when someone's life cycle stage changes, right? That's probably not a good example because we track that out of the box, but you can go to property settings, find the property that you care about, hit track changes. We'll track changes to that property over time. Those events can be used in Data Studio. And I'm thinking a cool use case could be to like push it out to a different endpoint, like push it out to Slack or something like that via the Data Studio would be like my little pitch on how you solve that. See, it's interesting that you come to set these up here because actually like 90% of people set them up in property settings. It's like some crazy number.
I actually
literally
didn't even know you could do that.
No one thinks to set them up here. I love that you did because this is my little corner of HubSpot. But no, in looking at the numbers, I'm like, everyone's going to property settings for this. But yeah, you can do this here or via property settings. It's the same exact. I
think the interesting thing to think about, like if you're jumping into workflows, because a part of the challenge here is like how to get this stuff to work inside of workflows. And
that's where, is it Data Studio and workflows? Part of me is like, maybe I didn't fully the segment because you could just
click on
Data Studio and do this directly in workflows.
Right. But are there so click on workflows, Casey.
Okay.
And let's go into there because you can use
a cool way to, no, never mind. I thought you were going to be in events. I was going to show you a cool way to get into workflows, but if you're in the events page and you're near your property change event, you can hit use in workflows and it'll launch you right to workflows with the workflow pre-populated for you. That's my like fun little plug for that little interconnected thing.
Should we show that?
Yeah. Save it. Okay, so you're in event management. That's your event. Actions, use in, workflows. And it launches you right there with your workflow trigger pre-populated. You can obviously edit it and add filters if you want. If you only want.
I could say like only if country.
Right.
Because it's based on that. If country is equal to.
Right.
Whatever.
So you could add in filters if you wanted, but yeah.
Not me panicking about what countries I know how to spell, but
you did a great job.
And so what's been interesting is finding so what reason would you now use
I have a pitch.
Data Studio?
I actually have a pitch. So let's say instead of just notifying them this property changed from X to Y, you want to pre-write them a message that they could send. Let's say it's a customer score or something like that, and you're tracking that the property changes, and you want to have a pre-written message that your salesperson can send out to whoever, the customer, based on that change, right? You could bring in Data Studio by pulling in your event and then adding a smart property that populates based on the change. You could give it a prompt to write a message based on the risk moving from X to Y and give it some context about what you want it to say. I don't know.
Okay.
As I'm saying, I'm like, maybe this is a bad, this is a bad one, but.
Well, so and this is how this part goes of the
Yeah.
show. So one common thing I hear about lead scoring and I've kind of talked to you about this a little bit, Maggie. People often are like, I want to know what sent them over. Like, what was the last thing they did?
Yeah.
So could we use, if we were tracking the lead score, we tracked when they went over 100, could we use Data Studio in some way to give us information on like what caused that?
I mean, to a certain extent, it sounds like you need something like the marketing research agent, but for your score changes, right? I'm trying to think of a way you could use, because the things that contribute to a score are entirely dependent upon the events that you have in the score itself.
Right.
I suppose what you theoretically, no, because you can't have more than one event table in data sets at a time.
Well, but if we look at like just the purpose here, if we're transforming siloed data into actionable insights, then the idea is like what we would then be able to use those actionable insights in theory inside of workflows, right? So like if we were to connect all of the systems in our organization to a data set and say this person has taken this they did this marketing engagement thing, this thing is happening over in service, they just submitted a ticket. Like that's how I see like it would be really hard to do that in workflows by itself. And then you could use, but if you bring in Data Studio into the picture, now you can make some pretty like complex data transformations and data curation that can now prep the context of the workflow better to do some pretty cool things.
See, you can definitely use Data Studio to connect HubSpot data to itself, right? And that's a viable use case. But when I think about like the value of Data Studio, to me, what more often comes to mind is connecting external data to HubSpot, transforming it, and then acting on it, right?
Right.
When I think about that, like desire to have a better, mothership level view of all the important things that are happening in your business, that to me feels like something that our AI tooling should be helping you do. Is going to be not better at than Data Studio, but like theoretically easier, because what you're describing is effectively a data set that has everything in your entire CRM in it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I mean everything outside of the CRM, like the moments where if sales needs to understand something happened with a contact from a team that's never coming into HubSpot, right? It's like, okay, just let us plug into their system. We bring in that data via Data Studio to understand it. And now we can use it in workflows, or like a big question that always comes up is like, is workflows even needed if you're using the app itself like properly, right? So should it workflow? It depends on the use case, but
on the specific thing, because actually Data Studio into workflows is like, there's things where it's also, now I'm probably going to share a lot of opinions, and you're going to tell me that half of them are anyway. There's many different ways to connect external data to HubSpot, and which is appropriate kind of depends on what you're looking to do. And if your top use case is automating something, I actually tend to point folks towards like one of our API endpoints to directly pipe things in. Where the real value of Data Studio comes in is in the transformation piece. It's the only thing in HubSpot that can do data transformation before you do anything else, which is why my like use case that my brain went to is like, all right, how can we take the change and add a smart property, which helps me get closer to my outcome, right? But if it's just something happened in an external system, depending on what it is, I would probably use the events APIs for that. I would probably use even just like a contact API to write to a property for that, because that's going to be just a much more efficient way to get my data in my workflow. So I do think the should it workflow kind of depends on exactly what I'm trying to do. If I want to like pre-write some email copy based on a change, that's a great, very cool Data Studio use case, something in an external system, and I want to transform it so that it's like a readable message that my salesperson can just act on, you know?
Yeah. And I think like for the lesser known stuff, like that's where it's helped us to, if you click back on the workflow, Casey, like just to understand what Data Studio related options are available in the workflows. So, and I think there was 3, like which data set do you want to use? Like, can you click on stuff? I'm not in charge. I'm not a workflows person, Maggie.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait, what do you mean? Can you click on stuff? There were 3.
Like,
are you trying to get to like the general workflow enrollment?
I'm trying to get to something that shows Data Studio specific options for setting the context, right?
Yeah, say delete the trigger and then you know, start again.
Yeah, let's just go scratch.
Because like, even if it is as simple as just letting us know something happened, this is often where iPass has to show up because like the other system doesn't name it like the same as it's going to be named in HubSpot or as it's going to be named according to what the sales team is looking for. So like connecting the data is step 1, but there's almost always a transformation like activity of some sort to make it contextual to work for the teams that are using HubSpot. Right.
From a data set on a schedule looks new to me, but that I figured that looked like Data Studio. But like one thing, so we created a property change event based on country being changed. In theory, we could trigger a workflow based on property value change. We don't need an event.
You don't. It should be just in the Data Studio. You can't get this doesn't this and the property change events use the same system. So it's the same exact data. The difference is when you make it here, we don't actually, I don't know how technical I should be getting, but we don't actually write the change, right? So the property value changes, we use it to trigger the workflow, and then it gets blasted off into the sun. We don't actually save it, right? The property change events, we store down that change. So not only could you use it for automation, you can also use it for reporting is really the big unlock, I think, for property change events to report on how properties evolve over time. But yeah, I only had you make the property change event to try the studio.
I guess I was just more saying for the broader audience, if all you want is to trigger a workflow from a property change, you don't necessarily need that in Data Studio, unless, like you said, you want to see when that happened.
Right. Like curation and transformation, like the more you want to do that before you get into a workflow is where Data Studio comes in my opinion. And that's where like part of the goal here is, have you ever thought about these things together? And because we haven't seen you shouldn't know that it's not going to workflow yet. Like, and I think it's been valuable just to see like, okay, because everybody wants it to be like, all right, coming into workflows, I'm picking an object and data. And like, I don't see often people showing off like any of the other stuff. And there's so many things that you could do, but the complexity starts to grow like pretty quickly. And especially when Data Studio is involved.
I tend to say like, what do you actually need? What do you actually need to do to be successful in connecting this data to HubSpot, right? Because the more layers of complexity you add to the way you integrate your data, the harder it is to figure out if something goes wrong, what's making it go wrong and where, you know?
Right. Yep. So again, I think all of these answers are going to be yes, and it depends on what you want to do. But I think that's a good way to put it, Maggie. Like please figure out what you want to happen first before you start coming in and just building workflows. But yeah, that's I guess that was our deep dive for today. And yeah, I'm never gonna let the constraints of a show stop product managers from telling us much and more about how things work behind the scenes in HubSpot. So
Jack.
yeah, so we definitely appreciate you stopping by. And that's where we're gonna wrap for today. Definitely always welcome back. And like any other product managers, like we hope this can be a space for just, more HubSpot knowledge shared in different kinds of contexts and in ways like this. I learned a lot today just from hearing you guys. Appreciate you bringing on Carolan.
Thank you, Ankur. That's very HubSpot. Hey, I'm on this call right now. Do you want to come talk?
Indeed. But yeah, until tomorrow morning, hope everybody has a great rest of their Wednesday. Thanks, guys.